My infant baby passed away. I, a 20-year-old female, found out that I was pregnant with my daughter Sophia when I was 18 years old. It was a difficult pregnancy mentally, and I did not really know how I felt about the pregnancy to begin with. Her father and I were constantly arguing, which left me feeling small and insecure within myself and my relationship. As for my daughter, she seemed very healthy at all of my obstetrician and gynecologist appointments. It was not until she was born that anyone discovered she was born with multiple rare heart defects. These defects were caused by a rare genetic mutation called DiGeorge syndrome. I cannot go too deep into what that is because I can barely comprehend it myself. All I understood was that she could not cry or eat like a baby with a healthy heart could. Anything that could raise her heart rate could potentially be fatal to her and cause her to go into cardiac arrest. For 4 weeks, my daughter was in the hospital before her cardiology team informed my boyfriend, who is now my husband, and me that our daughter had to go upstate to Stanford for a very specific heart surgery that she needed in order to survive. I was nervous to have her taken on a separate plane to Stanford, but I complied since it seemed like it was the best thing to do for her at the time. I went to Stanford the next day, and my grandmother came with me, so I was not up there alone. Everything seemed to be going well, and my daughter was already being prepared for her surgery the following morning. Doctors came into the room where I was holding my baby girl and explained how her surgery was going to proceed and detailed all the risks. I signed every consent form that was given to me. I did not care. I just wanted my baby to be happy and healthy. Once her pre-physical for the surgery was completed, I kissed my daughter and informed the nurses in charge of her care that my grandmother and I would be leaving to go to a nice lunch away from the hospital. We had been at the Stanford hospital for about 3 days, and my grandmother thought it would be best for me to get out for a little while. We arrived at the nearby mall, which was about a 10-minute drive away, and right when we sat down to order food, I received a call from the head doctor on my daughter's medical team. She said that something had gone wrong and I was needed back at the hospital as soon as possible because my daughter's case was now deemed an emergency. My daughter had suffered from cardiac arrest, and any efforts to help revive her were proving to be futile. By the time I finally reached my daughter's hospital room, there was a swarm of nurses and doctors talking and handing things to each other. I was pulled to the side of the room where my baby girl's head health doctor and the emergency surgery doctor were waiting for me. They informed me that my daughter had suffered from a heart attack and was being placed on life support. She had gone 45 minutes without proper oxygen levels to her brain, causing her to essentially go brain dead. I lost it. I screamed the scariest cry I have ever heard in my life. Everything else was a blur. I tried to move, but my legs felt like they were locked to the ground I was standing on. I barely remember anything else for the next few days. I allowed everything around me to happen, and I did not stop anything. Family members came up to Stanford from both sides of the family to meet her and provide support. It was not until 3 days after my baby was placed on life support that her father and I decided to take her off and let her go. It hurt, and I could not handle seeing my daughter on her deathbed alone. However, on the last night my daughter was alive, I finally gathered the courage to see her by myself after assuring family members that they could see her all day. The nurse taking care of her that night was so kind, and I will never forget her generosity. She helped me get comfortable and positioned my daughter in a way that would be most comfortable while I held her. The nurse left, and after 10 minutes of holding her, my daughter took her final breath, and I felt her body go limp. I sat there silently screaming until an actual noise came out of my mouth. The nurse heard my cry and came in. She checked my daughter's pulse and found none. My daughter's funeral took place shortly after. It was a beautiful ceremony, and many people came and helped me pay for the affair. I honestly do not remember crying a lot that day. I just knew that it was the last time I would ever hold an event for her, so I conducted myself the best way I could. Her father and I went through a lot after the funeral. He almost went down a path of alcohol, and I became very bitter after her death, but somehow we made it through. At least that is what I like to think. Of course, I still struggle to this day because of it all, and it has honestly traumatized me enough to be hesitant about having another baby, but I am sure I will be willing to try again sometime in the distant future. I just hope my daughter is happy wherever she is.